commence the program now and to formally call to order our program, may we call on the President of the PBA, Attorney Jerby Rabano.
Good evening, esteemed members of the Philippine Bar Association, distinguished guests, and fellow legal professionals. Welcome to the PBA's Fellowship Night, and thank you for joining us as we celebrate our 133rd Foundation Day and Law Day. As President, it's my honor and privilege to officially call this Law Day Fellowship to order. To our special guests, thank you for joining us this evening. Your presence enriches this celebration and reminds us of the broader community we serve beyond the courtroom. Let tonight be a celebration of our professionals' legacy, a renewal of our fellowship, and a reaffirmation of our duty to uphold the rule of law. With that, I declare the PBA Law Day Fellowship officially in session.
So thank you, Mr. President. Now may we request everyone to please stand to join us in singing the national anthem.
Kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiging, teles ng sinanghalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuyak ka ng magiting, sa manluluping, di ka pasisigil, sa gagatang tutong sa simoy at sa langit ko bagaw, ay hinatang tulang awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang lang matawag ko'y tagumpay ka nag-iinit, ang bituin na karoon niya kailan pa may di makikinig. Lumanang araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko. Ang bigaya ng pagkay mga akin, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Please remain standing as we play the anthem of the Philippine Bar Association.
We are the PBA, heirs to a glorious past, kindred and noble purpose, to blaze the future's path. Let us be the shield against lies and oppression. Let us be the light to bring justice home. Through time we have stood constant, faithful to our own, champions of the oppressed, guardians of the truth. Under our watch, let no one be denied. Under our watch, let no one be deprived. A fight for justice is a fight that we shall wage with fervor and honor to the very
Thank you. To invoke God's blessings upon this evening, may I call on Trustee and Assistant Corporate Secretary, Attorney Paul Bonco, for the invocation.
Dear God, we acknowledge your presence and thank you for our fellowship tonight. Thank you for the food that you served to us, that you've given to us. As the nation is beset by massive graft and corruption, remind us that as esteemed officers and members of the Philippine Bar Association, we are instruments of truth, that the bedrock and dignity of our profession is to advocate for what is just and in faithfully serving our fellow men regardless of social standing. Give us the wisdom and courage to uphold the rule of law and to fight for what is morally right. Remind us always to serve the poor, the oppressed, and the less fortunate. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Bless our fellowship, each one of us, and our families. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Attorney Bongo. You may now take your seats. Now, as we welcome everyone, we call once more our President, Jerby Rabano, to give his welcoming remarks.
Good evening po. Good evening, esteemed members of the Philippine Bar Association, distinguished guests, and our honored speaker, former Associate Justice Vicente Mendoza. As President of the Philippine Bar Association, it is my distinct honor to welcome you all to our 133rd Foundation Day and Law Day celebration. This gathering is not only to tribute to our rich history, it is a reaffirmation of our enduring commitment to justice, integrity, and the rule of law. Law Day holds a special place in our association's history. It was officially proclaimed on September 19, 1959 by President Carlos Garcia, recognizing the vital role of the legal profession in upholding justice and the rule of law. Since then, the PBA has celebrated Law Day annually, marking it with a fellowship that underscores our shared commitment to legal ethics, civil responsibility, and national service. This year, our nation has witnessed a series of events that has placed legal issues at the forefront of our public discourse. The impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte, a landmark political and constitutional development, has challenged our understanding of accountability and the separation of power. The ongoing proceedings involving former President Rodrigo Duterte before the ICC have reignited debates on international jurisdiction, human rights, and the boundaries of national sovereignty. These incidents have been widely covered in the media, highlighting the critical role of the legal institutions in navigating complex and often contentious national issues. From questions surrounding the almost daily developments on the controversial flood control projects to concerns over transparency, accountability, press freedom, and digital disinformation, the legal profession has again been called upon to provide clarity, uphold rights, and defend democratic values. Throughout these challenges, the Philippine Bar Association has remained a steadfast voice, issuing statements, engaging in dialogue, and standing firm in defending the rule of law. For over a century, the PBA has been a pillar of legal advocacy, and today we continue that legacy, that renewed purpose. I want to take this opportunity to reassert the Philippine Bar Association's support and offer of assistance to the Independent Commission on Infrastructure. The organization has likewise received a letter from the mayors for good governance for a potential partnership on the same issue. In addition to these explored organizational partnerships, I would also like to acknowledge the recent efforts of Trustee and Assistant Corsec Paul Bonco, Senior Advisor and Past President Bingbing Villarreal Fernando, and Past President Rico Domingo, who have volunteered their time to assist similar efforts with the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, led by IBP National President Alan Panolong, in enforcing accountability. Meanwhile, our Committee on Public Issues and Public Relations, chaired by John Molo, and UP Law Associate Dean Paulo Tomase, have been hard at work and have been very, very busy this year. And I wish to thank you all for your efforts so far. Lastly, I want to congratulate all the PBA members who have been included in the now very famous list of top 100 lawyers. I do see some in the room today. Now, let this evening be a moment of reflection and recommitment. As lawyers, we are not only practitioners, we are guardians of justice. May our discussion tonight inspire us to rise to the demands of our time with courage, wisdom, and compassion. thank you, and may we all continue to serve the law with honor. Mabuhay ang Philippine Bar Association, mabuhay ang batas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I hope everyone is enjoying their dinner. So most of us here already know that the Philippine Bar Association is the oldest voluntary association of lawyers in the Philippines. So now let's revisit the proud history of the PBA as I invite you to turn your attention to the screen.
The year was 1891. Spain ruled the islands through the iron fist of Governor-General Valeriano Weyler. Ilustrados studying in Spain were in the midst of the second propaganda campaign. They published the newspaper La Solidaridad and wrote passionately about unity and self-determination. In Belgium, José Rizal published his second novel entitled El Filibusterismo. At home, a revolution was afoot, and a nation was about to be born. On April 8, 1891, Spanish lawyers based in Manila and those mentioned in the Spanish Royal Decree of 1891 were summoned to a meeting at the Real Audiencia in Intramuros. The purpose of the meeting, presided by Magistrado Eduardo de Ortuña, was the establishment of the Colegio de Abogados de Filipinas and the election of its first executive board.
I apologize, we're just having some technical difficulties. Please enjoy your dinner first as we wait until the video restarts. Okay, I think it's taking some time to fix the technical difficulties. Let's move on with the program. So now let's introduce our distinguished guests. Now to do the introductions, may I please call on past president and current trustee, Jose Luis Aguili.
Good evening. Hello, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back on the dais. Once again, I have the pleasure of acknowledging our distinguished guests who honor us by their presence tonight. It's only Wednesday, but already over the past 4 days, we have witnessed extraordinary levels of social and political activism, the kind that have marked turning points in our country's history. It is but fitting that at a time like this, we pause and heed the voice of sage wisdom, judicial statesmanship, brilliance, which our distinguished guest of honor has been known for. It is my distinct privilege to formally introduce the Honorable Justice Vicente V. Mendoza, our keynote speaker for this evening. Justice Mendoza is joined by his gracious and lovely better half, Mrs. Thelma Mendoza. I also have the honor of introducing a woman of profound distinction who will introduce Justice Vicente Mendoza. So please allow me to welcome Madam Dean Gwen Gracia de Vera of the UP College of Law. Good evening, Dean. Okay. Better. We are also joined by some representatives of the Executive Department of Government. Firstly, in the presence of Assistant Secretary Jerome Pampolina of the Department of Migrant Workers. Good evening, sir. I'd like to introduce also Assistant Secretary Julius Llano, Presidential Office for Maritime Concerns. On the political side, Attorney George Briones, he is no stranger to our PBA, but now he comes to and joins us as General Counsel of the Partido Federalismo Filipino, PFP. From the judiciary, we are also joined by former Supreme Court Justice Angelina Gutierrez. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Justice. Welcome, Madam Justice. Also, we are graced by the presence of an old favorite, and welcome Judge Cesar Cruz. Good evening, Judge. Now comes the fun part. If you will grant me 5 minutes, which many of my colleagues are also looking forward to. I have the honor of introducing the past presidents of the PBA, valiant guardians of the rule of law, and volunteers of the Independent Commission on Infrastructure. This was John Molo's idea, incidentally. In no particular order, I would like to first acknowledge the presence of past President Ruben Fruto, Professor, 1996 to 1997, President. We are also joined by past President Maria Charito Cruz, President 2012 to 2013. Good evening, Madam. Sir, past President Victor Lasatin, one of my personal favorites, 2006 to 2007. The distinguished former Commissioner And past President Ronaldo Olivar Solis is also with us. Commissioner Pope, 2011 to 2012. Former Secretary of National Defense and past President Avelino Cruz Jr., sir, good evening. Past President 1994-1995. Past President Beda Fajardo, good evening, sir. 2013 to 2014. Past President Arturo del Rosario, 2008 to 2009. The second generation of del Rosario past presidents. The first being his father, Arturo, and the third being our present President, Jerby. Good evening, past President Joel Aison, 2024. As always, I am sure that I may have missed someone, or two, or three. So please, if I did, please speak up and identify yourself. Ah, of course. The great Rodel Cruz. Good evening. Where are you? Rock. Welcome, Rock. Is there anyone else? Well, with that, I'd like to wish you all a pleasant evening. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you very much, Attorney Agkawili, for the very long introduction. To properly set the stage for tonight's keynote address, may I invite the newly elected Dean of the University of the Philippines College of Law, my professor, Dean Gwen De Vera, to introduce our guest honor and speaker.
Thank you, Attorney Agkawili and Attorney Loon. PBA President Rebano, officers and trustees, past PBA presidents, former Supreme Court Associate Justice Vicente Mendoza and Angelina Gutierrez, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and fellow PBA members, and our young lawyers, future leaders of the legal profession, good evening. It is my distinct privilege to stand before you to introduce our guest of honor and keynote speaker, former Supreme Court Associate Justice Vicente V. Mendoza. Justice Mendoza was appointed to the Supreme Court as Associate Justice in 1994 until his retirement in April 2003. Before his appointment to the Supreme Court, he had a long tenure at the Court of Appeals, where he served as Associate Justice and later as Presiding Justice. A true public servant, his government service also includes a stint as Assistant Solicitor General from 1973 to 1980 and as Solicitor from 1971 to 1973. I'm also proud to mention that I was his clerk at the Supreme Court and that he also served as research attorney for the Supreme Court prior to joining a private law firm and then the Solicitor General's office. While I did not have the benefit of being a student at the UP College of Law, as a law clerk and later his co-faculty, I experienced what it has meant for Justice Mendoza, that a significant part of his life's work has been in legal education. He was a professor of constitutional law and administrative law at the University of the Philippines College of Law, and he was also a beloved bar reviewer in political law. As a legal scholar and an esteemed constitutionalist, Justice Mendoza's influence has been both deep and enduring, shaping the very fabric of our laws through his meticulous approach, and his mastery of logic and rhetoric. His tenure on the highest court was marked by a steadfast commitment to the principles that formed the bedrock of our republic, a legacy that is celebrated not only in Philippine legal circles but beyond. He is without doubt a jurist whose wisdom and integrity have left an indelible mark on our nation's legal history. Justice Mendoza's jurisprudence is a masterclass in constitutionalism and a powerful exposition of the supremacy of our fundamental law. Throughout his career, he consistently championed the protection of individual rights and the vigilant exercise of judicial review. His decisions underscore a core belief that constitutional rights, such as freedom of speech, must be zealously guarded from infringement. As we deliberate on the future of our legal system and the constitutional framework for accountability, Justice Mendoza's insights are more relevant than ever. His profound understanding of the law and his unwavering dedication to justice provide a roadmap for navigating the complexities of modern legal challenges. He continues to further our understanding of the Constitution. Only recently, he offered a sharp critique of the anti-terror law and championed the National University's academic freedom with the abrogation of the UPTND Accords. More recently, writing about the Supreme Court's decision in Diduro versus Vinuya, he emphasizes that all government authority emanates from the people. This is what he said. The Supreme Court has condemned red tagging, vilification labeling, and guilt by association as threats to life, liberty, and security. It would be ironic, even perverse, for the government or any of its agencies to resort to the use of social media to harass, intimidate, or threaten its critics. Governments derive their powers from the people whose rights it is their duty to protect. That is the philosophy of our Constitution. He reminded us that the art of free society consists in, I quote, the maintenance of the symbolic code and the fearlessness of revision to secure that the code serves those purposes which satisfy an enlightened reason, close quote. Today, we have the rare privilege of learning from a mind that has not only upheld the symbolic code, but has also fearlessly advocated for its revision when necessary to serve the ends of justice. For the inaugural Magister Lecture, JVVM, or Justice VV, as he is fondly called, said, and I quote, "It is a duty of every generation to keep the Constitution up to date. This task requires the utmost dedication of mind and spirit of those who would undertake the solemn and sacred duty." He quoted, "He who would bring home the wealth of the Indies must carry the wealth of the Indies with him," as a Spanish proverb says. Not to him whose outlook is limited by parish or class, or whose motive is solely to prolong the stay in power of those in public office, or to seek material gain or political advantage, should the task be entrusted. We are not likely to see a reduction of tension and other concerns in the future. We should be grateful we have decent, civilized procedures provided by our Constitution for adapting to change as we strive to elevate to an art form our efforts to preserve our free way of life. As a lifetime member of the JVVM Fans Club, it is with immense respect and anticipation that I ask you to join me in giving a very warm welcome to our keynote speaker, the Honorable Associate Justice Vicente V. Mendoza.
tayo ng konti. President Rebano, fellow members of the Philippine Bar Association, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to join you in celebrating Law Day 2025 and observe the 133th anniversary of this independent bar association. It is fitting that a date should really be set aside to instill in our people the vital role of law in social action and social life. Law is like the air we breathe, without which no living creature can hope to survive. There ought to be a law. Let us consider two situations which illustrate the necessity for law, and the other one which illustrates what might it look like if there were no law. The first situation: if a person finds a vacant lot and wants to build a house on it, but another person also wants the lot for himself, what do they need? A law, isn't it, to settle their dispute? If a hospital has cardiac patients, but the neighborhood in which the hospital is located is celebrating a fiesta and exploding firecrackers, what is needed? A law, isn't it? If Mass is being held at the Quiapo Church, but the bright neon signs across the plaza announce a burlesque show, there is a need for a law regulating the use of the public plaza, isn't it? Or if a sugar mill is dumping its waste matter into a creek and polluting a river, what is needed is a law, isn't it? Always a law. As Justice Malcolm said, in a case involving the deportation of women of ill repute, and he said, you cannot do that to the mayor without the authority of a law. Always a law. Second situation: what might it look like if there were no law? Let us consider a situation where gold miners are trapped inside a cave because of a landslide. By radio, they were told that they could not survive until until they could be rescued. What do? What they do is they decide by dice, throwing dice, who would be killed and eaten so that the rest could live. When the rescue was finally completed, 4 survived. They were tried and prosecuted for murder, and they were convicted by the trial court. The case went on to the Supreme Court. It's a mythical Supreme Court. Let us see what the 5 justices said. They reached differing opinions and conclusions. The Chief Justice Trupenny, voted to affirm the conviction and recommend to the Chief Executive the grant of clemency to the defendants. Why? Because he said the minors were in a state of nature and the normal laws did not apply. Second Justice Foster, he said that the purpose of the criminal law is deterrence. Deterrence, but this objective of the criminal law cannot be accomplished by affirming the conviction of these people. Justice Sutting said, I cannot decide. I don't know what to apply. The criminal law has different purposes: deterrence, retribution, or vengeance. Justice Keene said the court should take the accused, or rather should take the public opinion, 90% of which wanted the accused to be given light sentences, while the last justice, Justice Hanley, said that he thought the defendant should be acquitted because the chief executive was not likely to grant clemency. Unable to decide the case, the appeal was dismissed. We will be truly civilized, Paul Freund once said, when the Supreme Court is no longer front page, when the judges need occupy no more exalted place than the dentist. The dentist who do a bit of patchwork here and there, but are never responsible for the basic health of society. That is when the government is truly a government of laws. So that we may achieve such government, we elect representatives in Congress to make laws for us. And we require the chief executive, the president, as the highest magistrate, to take an oath that he would defend and preserve the Constitution and execute the laws. But today, what do we see? Today, we see a government of laws submerged in a high tide of corruption. Money authorized by law to be spent for the construction of flood control projects have been lost to unscrupulous contractors in connivance with unscrupulous lawmakers. We see a horrifying reign of greed and avarice. A government of laws must, in our time, be a government of men. Men, as the poet Josiah Gilbert Holland said, and begged God, whom the lust of office must not kill. Men whom the spoils of office will not buy. Men who have opinions and a will. Men who have honor and men who will not lie. Men who can stand before the demagogue and slam his treacherous flatteries without winking. Tall men, sun-crowned, who live above the fog in public duty and private life. Government of laws must in our time be government of men, such as was exemplified by the government of Ramon Magsaysay, the humble mechanic from Zambales. Magsaysay's guiding principle in life was those who have less in life should have more in law. And can we defend this in Plaza Miranda? We cannot always have a Ramon Magsaysay. And we should be ever on guard lest those to whom we entrust the enforcement of the Constitution and the laws will betray our trust. Quis custodes leges. Who will guard the guards? Sino ang magbabantay sa mga tagabantay? Should be a constant reminder of the need to be vigilant. What can we do as citizens? We must begin to teach law early in life if we want to have a government of laws. Teach it early. teach it in the grade schools and in the high schools. Students should be made to read the Bill of Rights and given simple questions based on the Bill of Rights. This will engage their attention. They will like it. Especially if you ask them, what do you do if while Mass is being held in the Quiapo Church, a vendor across the plaza is blaring his commercial products? That will engage the imagination of the students. That's the way to teach law. And it must be taught law if we expect to have a truly government of laws. Hindi mo pwedeng ituturo yan sa malalaking tao na. Hindi naman ituturo kung ano ang shipping law, what is charter law. Attorney Rebano, you're not going to teach it that way. What you're going to teach them is the basic law so that they will not only be law-abiding but knowledgeable in law. What do you do in those situations? What do you really do? You will then make students see that the real issue in life is not right versus wrong. Hindi. It is right versus right. One right colliding with the right of another. I'll give you examples. The right of an individual to freedom of expression versus the government's right to maintain the public order. The right of an individual to travel versus the government's right to maintain national security. The right of an individual to privacy of communication and correspondence versus effective law enforcement. Ang nag-uuntugan dyan, ang nagkakaroon ng conflict, ay hindi right versus wrong. That's a very simple question, simplistic. Anyone can answer that. Naturally, you'll say right. But the real problem, which should be taught to the people, even if they're not lawyers, is when one right is in conflict with another right. Why? Because we are all citizens of a republic. We all have equal rights. And the question is accommodating right and another right. So the issue is right versus right. Law is full of these ethical principles. They are ethical principles. And they should be explored because they have great civilizing effects. If taught in this wise, in the early stage, in the high schools, in the elementary schools, in the high schools, people will become more restrained in their action. They will be more mindful and respectful of their rights and the rights of others. They will become truly civilized individual. Kung natuloy lang yung ating panel discussion on impeachment nung araw, kung natuloy lang, I would have told you many more things that can make us more civilized. And I'm not kidding. Do you know that impeachment is a civilized way of getting out the highest magistrate? It was instituted because without impeachment, the alternative is assassination. So impeachment is a civilized method of ousting even the highest magistrate of the land. But hindi tayo natuloy. So we'll put that to another day. Let me conclude with the hope that Law Day celebration, like this celebration today, will focus on the need for making government of laws a government of men as well, to prepare our people for which we should teach law in the high schools, in the elementary schools and the high schools. Government of laws, government of men, that is what I believe we urgently need today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Justice Mendoza, for that very inspiring keynote address. Truly, your words will serve as a reminder for our continuing mission. Truly, your words will serve as a reminder for our continuing mission as members of the legal profession. To present the plaque of appreciation, may I call on once again our President, Attorney Jerby Rebano.
Philippine Bar Association gratefully delivers this plaque of appreciation to the Honorable Vicente B. Mendoza, Associate Justice, Retired Supreme Court, for having raised this occasion of the 133rd Foundation Day and Law Day celebration of the Philippine Bar Association as guest of honor and speaker. In addition, it is fitting to express thanks on this occasion to a gentleman of the law who adheres to and lives by the tenets and ideals of the PBA to maintain and uphold the rule of law, given this 24th day of September 2025 at Makati City.
Thank you very much.
I cannot really say that that's a faithful sketch of myself. It is much more handsome. But if you say that is like me, I will accept it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. And now, a very important part of tonight's celebration, the induction of our new members. May I invite Justice Vicente Mendoza to lead this significant ceremony.
So now may we call on the inductees as new members of the Philippine Bar Association. Donita Rose Pagsanhan, Marceliano Molina III. Please join us on the stage. Adrian Luis Cianco, Jaya Non, Alicia Amene,
Peter John Javier, Zara Mariti, Rafael Luis Valoso, Dante Castillo, Franz Rafael Velasco.
Irene Joy Selma, Marna Jennifer Chod Fetizanan, Ramon Alfonso Muñez, Nicola Fiona de los Santos, Oscar Joseph Payawal,
Gwyneth Gail Matubis, Pia Justine Rodulfo, Arthur Alianan, Mary Judith Encarnacion, Nico Fidel Magallanes.
Clarizat Ligado, Mark Gregory Pile, Steffi Eunice Ramos, Maria Shariel Sagad, Rodeline De Torres, and Joel Enrico Santos.
Again, may we please invite all the new inductees to proceed to the stage. The other side. Yung iba dito na lang, please. Thank you. Yes, yes. Guys. So the camera is here.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Having been accepted a member of the Philippine Bar Association, Incorporated, do solemnly swear to promote the objectives of the association, defend the rule of law, and uphold the lawyer's oath. So help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Justice Mendoza, for honoring us with your presence, and congratulations to the new members of the Philippine Bar Association.
Picture, picture, picture.
May we call on those who have been inducted in the past via Zoom to join the photo op? The lawyers at the back
Not yet.
who have not yet Again, to those lawyers who have been inducted via Zoom, to please come forward and join the photo op. Thank you. Another round of applause for the new inductees of the Philippine Bar Association. Thank you to Justice Mendoza and to President Jerby. As we close tonight's formal program, let us hear some words of wisdom and reflections from our PBA President, Attorney Jerby Rebano.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. It was a very enlightening speech from our guest speaker. Before we end tonight, we do have another event in... Can I ask Trustee Art to come here? Si Art ba nandyan? Yeah, so before we end, can I just ask our trustee to say a few words for our next event next month? And of course, all of you are again welcome to join.
Thank you very much, Press. How was everyone tonight? Everyone's having a very good evening, I hope. Palakpakan naman natin si Press Jerby. Thank you for a very good evening of festivities and learning. We learned the rule of law and how important it is. And after the somber and very serious things happening, I would hopefully want to invite everyone for next month. Alam naman natin yung Oktoberfest. So for the PBA naman, we have our own version of our Oktoberfest. So konting levity naman after the somber sobriety of things happening right now. So, if I may, October 17, 5 p.m., cocktails sa Del Rosario Law Center at BGC. If I may cordially and respectfully invite everyone to attend to our next event happening on October 17, Friday. Hope everyone would come. It's a cocktails event. We'll be greeted by very good Filipino food, maybe perhaps Japanese food, and maybe a surprise dish from somewhere globally. And pairing with that is drinks. So meron tayong non-alcoholic and alcoholic, and we will be showcasing Filipino-made liquors. So para sa sariling atin. So let's hope na we can attend and support Filipino liquor and food. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Trustee Art,
Again,
for the
thank you.
announcement.
Again, thank you very much for attending. Hope you enjoyed. See you in our next event. Thank you.
May we call on the trustees of the Philippine Bar Association and the officers of the Philippine Bar Association for for a photo op with Justice Mendoza and Dean Gwen de Vera. Yeah. To go to the table of Justice Mendoza. Thank you. Again, may we please call on the trustees of the Philippine Bar Association and the officers of the PBA to please come forward for the photo op with Dean Gwen de Vera and Justice Vivi Mendoza. Thank you.